Hi there, Internet. It's Anthony, and I'm about to watch another episode of The Walking Dead. So, this is season 3, episode 16. Welcome to the Tombs. And of course, this is the season 3 finale, so I know it's about to go down. It's about to be crazy. I think I already gave my predictions as vague as they probably were in the last episode, so I guess I don't really have much to say here. I just want to go ahead and get straight into it. So let's go ahead and get into the season 3 finale. Did the last episode start with an I too, or was that something else I was watching? I feel like I remember recently another episode starting with an I.
I have to say, because we didn't have them.
I feel like this is like the beginning of a video game.
Just burn them up. 8 of my men died. And you know
Or like the section right after you got knocked out.
They kept you safe. Smell of gunpowder and you see the blood, you know what that means? Means you're alive.
Yeah, this guy is starting to just sound like he's gone crazy. Like, clearly he was already kind of crazy before, but it was like they were really balancing it out. But these last few episodes, they've just been letting him go like full psycho.
Pick that up.
He's just gonna slide it more under there.
Come
Being
on.
way too obvious.
Step 2.
Taking too
Let's
long.
go.
Try to just kill him real quick. I know that's easier said than done, though. Yeah. I knew, I was like, even if he tries that, it's probably not gonna work. So is that the end of Milton?
You were gonna do it. And you're gonna tear the flesh from her bones.
Wow. You die and you kill. They just be weaponizing these walkers. Dang. I hope Daryl's holding up okay after just losing his brother and all.
You had to think about it. You had to. I get it.
I'm glad that that's kind of all water under the bridge and she understood.
I can't remember.
Like, honestly, I love to see it when characters can just, you know, I guess think kind of rationally about things like that. They didn't have to go the melodrama route of making that a whole nother source of contention. They could just move past that and focus on more heavier things, I guess, or pressing matters, you should say. I wouldn't have blamed her for being mad at him, though.
We'll stay here and defend the children. When you return, if you want us gone, no hard feelings.
That sounds reasonable. But this guy isn't reasonable, is he? Thank you. I thought he was about to just... I wonder how intentional it was, how when he grabbed the gun, he kind of slightly, you know, bumped into the top of it and then grabbed it again. I'd be wondering if that was like an intentional choice to seem nervous, or if it was just an actual not, you know, mess up, but like slight fumble. Because I really like when just little small things like that are in TV shows. It makes everything feel more realistic. Oh my gosh. It's just turned into like Gears of War or something.
When
Yeah,
you get
come on.
free, you are going to find something very sharp. And you are going to stab me in the head.
So we'll cross that bridge when we get there. First, got to get to those pliers. Uh-oh, hurry up! Stop looking at him and hurry up and do it. You know around how long it takes. You were staring at your sister the whole time. Come on! Stop building up the dream.
You stay.
Okay, he's still alive.
After you.
Man, please don't let anybody else die. Come on, hurry up. Get him. All these bullets. One needs to catch the governor in the head.
We did it!
I mean, they're still alive though. Y'all did it. It's a battle one, yeah, but it might not be the war.
Whoa, whoa, whoa. Don't shoot.
Drop the weapon, son.
Sure.
Drop it. Stop getting so close. Carl said, screw it. I'm not gonna lie. That dude obviously was up to something. They told him drop it, and he's up here creeping closer and closer. I'm sorry, like, honestly, Carl did what he had to do.
Just like all of you. Took out one of the governor's soldiers.
One of his soldiers? A kid running away? He stumbled across us.
No, he drew on us.
I'm sorry you had to do that.
Yeah, man, like, it's like we really don't know. I don't know. Like, was he a soldier? Was he just a kid stumbling? Like, initially, I was like, okay, let's not just, like, you know, be quick to judge this guy and assume he has bad intentions. Like, I don't know. I just really feel like he should have just dropped the gun, like they said. He seemed like he was up to something. So maybe he died unjustly. Maybe he wasn't up to something. But I honestly cannot blame Carl for not taking the chance in that situation, because he was not doing what they were telling him to do. There was no other reason for him to be disobeying that order if he didn't have a trick up his sleeve.
I'm telling you, he gunned that kid down.
Look, I tend to side with Herschel, so I definitely really strongly take his perspective into account.
Soldiers want us to kill minors, of course, but this
Oh, wait.
is crazy. Like, go home. Think you're gonna be safe? I'm going back.
What is he about to do? Oh my gosh! This guy is crazy! This is the guy y'all follow? This is your king? This guy is crazy. Now, would Rick ever do that to his own people? Y'all need to just kill him, because if he did that to all them, he could do it to y'all too. Y'all just happen to be slightly more significant characters, but it could have been you too.
Was he handing it over?
Yes, he
I couldn't
was.
take the chance. I didn't kill the walker that killed Dale. Look what happened.
So that is not the same
You
thing.
didn't kill Andrew. And he came back and killed Mom.
Well, also that was partially because he tried to kill him in the first place. But anyway, okay, maybe I saw the situation a little bit differently, because it feels like they're not even talking about it the exact same way it went down. Like, it's not like the guy was just like, okay, and they said, hand your gun over, and he was like, okay, and started handing it over, and he just shot him. They were like, he was standing all the way back there. They said, drop the weapon. And then he starts walking towards them, getting closer and closer. So I thought that was meant to indicate that the guy was being intentionally disobedient to that order and was seemingly trying something. But maybe I just interpreted the whole scene completely wrong, because if it was supposed to actually seem like he was handing the gun over and Carl just shot him because he was trigger happy, then yeah, I totally am not on Carl's side in that. But I legitimately thought that the scene was trying to portray that the dude was trying something underhanded, and that this was Carl being using discernment to notice that he was doing something underhanded. But maybe I read the scene wrong, because the way they're talking about it now, if Carl is up here lying about the fact that he was handing the gun over and all this as if he's trying to hide something, oh, I'm definitely not on Carl's side anymore. But I would have thought Carl would be like, he was trying something, but he's lying at this point. So yeah, obviously the scene was showing something that I interpreted it differently. But now that I'm seeing this is the way they're talking about it, I think I've kind of switched sides at this point.
And you let him go. And then he killed Merle. I did what I had to do.
Those are all different situations though, but I see where Carl is coming from, but those are
Okay.
definitely different situations. Okay, yeah, now that I'm hearing Carl's whole like thought process behind it and everything, yeah, like I'm not really on Carl's side. I understand where he's coming from though. These walkers ain't even a thing no more. I remember when these things used to be an actual threat in like season 1. Why does she keep on stopping and just looking at him? In your mind, this is not a TV show. This is real life. You don't have to raise the dramatic tension for yourself. There's no... It's The Walking Dead. If they don't die on camera, they didn't die.
I tried.
She tried to save everyone.
You did.
And I wish it could have worked.
You did.
Here comes the shot. There we go. I was about to say, I know that's not the end because we haven't even defeated the governor yet. Is the governor going to carry over to next season? Because it feels like we've reached like the climax. Like it feels like right now we're in that cooling off point at the end of the episode. So I don't think anything else is going to happen in terms of the governor. Unless they're about to do a big like plot twist type of thing at the end. Oh wow, they got more people. All the people from Woodbury.
What is this?
Carl's like, what are you doing?
You're gonna join us.
That was a pretty cool finale. I mean, for one thing, I mean, okay, so I definitely enjoyed this as a finale. One of the main reasons or things that I liked about it actually was that it wasn't exactly predictable in the way that I would have thought it would have gone. Like, not that I knew any specific story details of what might happen or that I predicted anything like that, but I definitely expected for it to bring some type of, you know, plot conclusion with the governor, you know, with like them like really defeating him and killing him or something, or just showing some type of, you know, real, you know, resolution on what happened with his character other than him just sort of disappearing after killing all those people. But it didn't. So in that sense, it was almost, I say anticlimactic, but not in like a negative way, but like more so in a way of this whole season, this guy's been like, you know, the big bad. And this whole season, this is what like they've been fighting against. And then all of a sudden at the end, we just see him do one last bad thing and just disappear. Like, you know, which is very antithetical to how other shows I'm reacting to right now, even like Buffy or Dexter work, where like, you know, the big bad is always defeated at the end of the season, point blank. So that kind of, you know, took me off guard a bit. And now it's going to be interesting to see what they're planning on doing with that. Will we just never hear from the governor again? Or will he be used in future installments? I'm imagining that he's going to be coming back, but I don't expect for him to be the big bad again next season. At least I hope that he's not. Even though he is a good character, I don't like for stuff like that to last too long. I don't know. But yeah, I definitely think we'll be seeing him again. And I liked how instead of going for like, you know, a more plot based conclusion, it felt like they went with a more thematic conclusion, because the whole season, the main theme we've been looking at is this idea of, you know, leadership with you know, Rick and the governor, as well as considering things kind of what Andrea was going through of, is it possible to save everybody? Like, how smart is it to trust? When are you too trustworthy? When are you not trustworthy enough? All these different kinds of questions. And it felt like at the end there, we at least got to see like the biggest kind of starkest difference we've seen yet between the governor and Rick, which is that at the end of the day, when times are hard and when things aren't going well, the governor literally just killed all his people. Rick stuck by his people and took more people in. And it's like, the governor just killing everybody like that, to me, that sort of speaks to this whole idea of, you know, I mean, I know it's way worse and way different than most of the other situations that have been brought up so far, but he just killed them because, like, he was angry for one thing. I guess they were inconvenient to him. It's like, to me, it really promotes the idea of, in this world, it's a slippery slope if you start letting yourself get too desensitized to killing. Because I don't think he would have done that in just the regular world. I don't think the governor, before the whole apocalypse and everything, would have just gunned the whole people down like that. I think that everything he's gone through in this has changed him to get to that point. But I honestly do feel like, at least in his case, that this is coming from a logical progression of becoming just too, like, trigger happy and too seeing killing as the solution, basically. Like, I mean, like we've kind of seen with Shane, like we're starting to kind of see with Carl, like we've slightly seen with Rick before and other characters. It's getting to the point where sometimes people are, you know, there's a them or me mentality, which is completely understandable, but it just feels like the solution, people just jump immediately to kill them. I think I talked about this with Shane. Like I was saying, like how, like for him, it seemed like every single solution to every problem started to just be, we need to kill them. We need to kill anybody involved with this. We need to kill whoever could possibly be this threat, even if we're not sure they are. And even if they haven't given us a lot of reason, if there's the smallest tiny possible reason to kill this person, we need to just do it, because otherwise it's not worth the risk. And so, I mean, like I said, I kind of understand that thought process, but it's definitely a slippery slope. And I think it leads to things like the mayor just gunning all his people down for no reason. It also leads to things like Carl shooting the guy. Like, I'm still, with that situation, like, I definitely don't necessarily feel the same way I felt right after seeing it, because originally, like I said, it really did look like they were kind of playing into the whole thing of this guy had something up his sleeve and was about to pull something. And Carl didn't say that to Rick and everything. So I'm like, maybe that's not what, I don't know, maybe it's one of those things where what we saw happen and what really happened, doesn't really match up. Because you know how sometimes TV, when they portray things, it's not how it's really, I don't know how to describe what I mean by that, but basically, like, in the universe logic, what he did was actually surrender rather than you know, be potentially planning something. Because it seems like if they were trying to play into the fact that he was potentially planning something, Carl would have at least mentioned that to Rick, or Herschel would have mentioned that he could have possibly done something. But he never mentioned that. They just had Carl lie about it, or at least really try to omit the fact that the guy was handing his gun over, which then led me to realize, oh, so they're trying to portray this as Carl being trigger happy and, you know, now trying to make stuff up and make it sound like it's worse than it was. So, like I said, in that case, I definitely don't agree with Carl. Assuming that the guy could have potentially been trying something, I do still think that even in that case, Carl probably could have done more. I mean, he's not, like, you know, trained in like law enforcement or anything like that. So, I mean, it's only so much responsibility you can place on him to know the proper procedure and protocol to do. But he definitely could have maybe given him one more warning and said, if you continue to move forward, I will shoot you, or something like that. So it definitely feels like in that situation, even if the guy was maybe going to do something, either way, Carl just wanted to take the advantage of the opportunity and take the excuse to shoot him. So Andrea died this episode, which, and I hope this doesn't sound mean, but if there was any character that was gonna die, I guess Andrea is the one that I'm the most okay with. And I don't even mean that in like a really negative, like, hate against Andrea way. I just, like, I was going through my mind, like, which character would I be the least sad if they died? And it honestly kind of was Andrea. Nothing against her. I mean, I know I used to be kind of annoyed by her, like when Shane was around and she was kind of like, you know, following him in a lot of ways. But over time, I've started to warm up to Andrea. I felt like this season was very good to Andrea. You know, the show used to kind of portray her in a little bit of a worse light, but this season has been very good to Andrea. So I've started to like her as a character. But yeah, I'm sad to see her go, but I'd be lying if I didn't say I'm at least a little relieved that it was just her and not anybody else. But it's definitely a shame to see her go. And I also think, you know, it was very poignant for them to allow her to take herself out, because, you know, that was something that actually, like, you know, meant something to her. Like it wasn't somebody just, you know, doing it out of fear or out of like, you know, for whatever reason. You know, for Andrea, that actually she knew deep down she had to be the person to take herself out, and that's the way that she would feel the best about it. And, you know, that's how she wanted to go out. And, you know, she originally was going to back in season 1, and Dale took that opportunity away from her, which I guess it's tough to say whether or not that was, you know, right or wrong, or whether she ultimately was okay with it or not. I don't know. But either way, you know, I definitely feel like I'm glad that she got to go out on her own terms, at least in a way, kind of. Still, she got bit either way, so, but it was still kind of on her own terms. So I'm happy about that. And I did enjoy Andrea's contribution to this season. Like, you know, the whole idea, she really wanted to make a compromise. She wanted for everything to be able to work out. And, you know, she had a very kind of optimistic viewpoint for things that honestly did kind of come across a little naive and a little like, you know, like there's just no way this is going to work. And to me, that's almost that in a way, it's almost like a conflicting theme, a conflicting message, because it feels like on the one hand, that doesn't work, you know, trying to work everything out doesn't work. But on the other hand, we're seeing the effects of being too ruthless and too cold and just trying to kill everybody and not, you know, trusting anything at all. Neither one of these things are working, it seems like. You can't try to save people. You can't try to kill people without both end up just in terribleness. At the end of the day, it's like that's the main message and point of this world. No matter what you do is bad, is what it's starting to feel like. And that's why I think it's so hard to come up with any general consensus of what the right or wrong thing is in any situation about this, because it's like at the end of the day, it's all leading to badness, you know? So, but I appreciated her efforts. I really did. So R.I.P. Andrea. I really liked Milton by the end of the season. I feel like they did a good job of, you know, building his character up and gradually and subtly bringing him into the role that he ended up serving. You know, obviously at the end of the day, Andrea still didn't survive either, but it still feels like, you know, Milton kind of got, in a way, a redemption arc in some ways. Like, we don't put him in the same category in our minds as we put the governor, just like we don't put most people that, you know, were at Woodbury in the same category as the governor. It feels like a lot of them are just misguided people, you know, who unfortunately stumbled across the wrong person. But I really liked how Milton, you know, kind of got this arc of going from, you know, just, you know, the super scientific guy, you know, just doing he was very academic with it, but not very you know, real life with it, if that makes sense. But like, you know, he had all these ideas of how walkers worked and how the world worked just from everything he'd been observing and reading and studying and experimenting on and stuff. But he wasn't as, you know, but he wasn't as astute when it came to like real world decisions, real world morality, real world survival, and just like kind of standing up for himself in some ways. But it felt like by the end of the season, you know, he started to kind of determine exactly, you know, what his values were, where his morals lie, you know, and say, you know what, I'm gonna burn all these walkers over here. I'm going to do this and that to rebel. And I thought that was, you know, really nice to see. And I feel like he played a pretty integral part in, you know, how things worked out at the end of the day, especially with the fact that he burnt all those walkers and stuff, and he helped Andrea. So I mean, like, kudos to Milton, RIP to him as well. Obviously he was just introduced this season, and he definitely kind of felt like a seasoned character, so I wasn't super surprised to see him die. But yeah, RIP Milton. I really like Tyrese and Sasha. Like, I feel like they have potential to be really good characters, and hopefully to have some longevity in the show. Moving forward, some characters that I'm really interested to learn more about and see more of is Daryl and Carl. Like, obviously they've been around since the beginning, but I feel like both of them have been, like, they've both been very interesting to me, because it feels like a lot of their development happens in the background, and we don't oftentimes, I mean, we do every now and then, but we don't oftentimes follow them like as closely as we do some of the other characters. And we more so just see the changes that are happening to them, you know, once they've happened. Like, we notice that Carl is pretty different now, and we can kind of make some assumptions as to why he's been changing. But it feels like we don't go as close into his mindset as we do some other characters. And same with Daryl. And of course, this season we got to do a little bit more because we got to see, Merle and his relationship with him and learn a little bit more about his upbringing. So that was awesome. So yeah, I'm just really excited to maybe see even more of them. I can't wait to see what Carl's going to be like as he gets older. And I mean, they're showing us some interesting actions from him this episode. And I imagine all that is going to really, really play a factor into how things go next season. I wonder if he's going to turn out to grow up to be like Shane or anything. I don't know. So I'm really looking forward to seeing that. And I just feel like Daryl especially just has so much potential. And like it feels like there's so much brewing under the surface there that we haven't even seen yet with him. So I can't wait to get to, learn even more about Daryl. Also, I'm really excited to see more of Michonne. It feels like they've alluded to some things about her that we still haven't completely gotten into yet. Like, she knew those walkers that they were taking around, I believe. And I think she kind of talked about it. And then she told Rick how she sees her brother and stuff. But like, yeah, I feel like there's still more there that we could learn about Michonne. We kind of got a glimpse of her, natural personality in the episode Clear. So that was cool to see. And we've seen her relationship with Andrea. And now we're going to see how, the loss of Andrea is going to affect her. So Michonne's another character that I really have my eyes on in just terms of saying, like, what's she going to do next? What's next for her? Rick, of course, he's the main character, and he's always been really fun to follow. It feels like every season, I've talked about this before, they really do a lot for Rick, and they really take him far from one place to the other. So I'm interested to seeing what his next sort of journey is going to be. What is his next task going to be? What is his next, realization going to be? Now that he kind of has this, he knows what type of leader he wants to be. I really don't know what the next step is going to be for him. And I mean, I know the world is just going to keep on getting tougher and tougher. So I don't know if like what he's come up with now is going to stick, or if he's going to, decide he wants to be a dictator again or what. But I think that'll be really, really interesting to watch. And I also think something that's about to be very interesting is the relationship between Rick and Carl. We saw a lot of times this episode where it felt like their dynamic is just completely shifting and changing. Like, it almost feels like Carl doesn't respect Rick the way that he used to be. That could be a really cool storyline, maybe. Or maybe not. I don't know. Maybe that's cliche. I don't know. But I could definitely see that happening if done well. Like, next season, a big thing is, Carl losing respect for Rick. And he already told him this season he should step down as a leader, I think. But it was more from like, a respectful, loving standpoint. But I could definitely see next season maybe Carl starting to lose some respect for Rick, and them starting to have a bit of a turbulent relationship. That might be interesting to watch. So I can't wait to see what's in store for the two of them. So overall, I think I might rank this as my favorite season yet, because it really feels like they had a good focus and idea of exactly what type of story they wanted to tell, and what the underlying themes and messages were they were trying to convey, and what everything was supposed to mean. And it felt like because, in season 1 and even kind of season 2, the characters were still learning about the world and adapting to the world around them. By this season, they're so adjusted to it and just so used to it that it felt like the world and, the more surface level stuff kind of got to take a back seat. Like just them going around fighting walkers and stuff. That type of stuff kind of got to take a back seat, and we started to get into some more character stuff, and we started to get in, I don't know, just into some, some deeper theoretical stuff. I felt like that was pretty interesting to kind of just think about as an audience, to determine like what's right or wrong, or what is this and that in these different situations. That's always been around in this show, but I feel like this season they were able to push us even farther. So definitely, I think I would say this was, well, I don't want to say definitely, but I think this was my favorite season thus far. Plus, when you think about some of the standout episodes, like Clear, of course, was great. And also there was Killer Within, which maybe I'm just thinking about that one because I edited it earlier today and put it out. But that was also a pretty big episode for, how much it switched everything up. I feel like there was a lot of other really good episodes peppered throughout there. And the whole season, I mean, I'm not saying there were bad episodes, but I mean, like, there were some episodes that were pretty standout overall in the context of the entire show, I think. So season 3, I really liked it, and can't wait to see what they're going to do with season 4. Like, I get the feeling that this is the type of show that just trends upward. and gets better and better as it goes. So I'm really looking forward to seeing what's to come. Go ahead and leave a comment down below. Let me know what you thought about the episode and the season. Like the video if you liked it. Subscribe if you want to see more. And head on over to Patreon to get the full uncut reactions way ahead of the YouTube schedule. Till next time, I'm Anthony, and I will see you all in Season 4.